Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Megan, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at all of the books that I'm planning to read this summer. So it's quite a long list, so if you're ready, let's strap in and get going. I do just want to start by saying that this list is just the books that I actually currently have a physical copy of. This list is definitely going to grow over the summer as I buy more books. But I wanted to take a look at what I do have on my bookshelf, because not only is this going to be interesting for you guys to know what I'm going to be reading, but it's also making me actually look at the books on my bookshelf and figure out what I want to read instead of just going to buying all new books, because I have a lot of books that I haven't read yet and I'm really excited to read them. So we're going to start with the book I've been reading currently. I just started it a couple days ago and I'm obsessed with it right now, and that is the first book of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I'm about halfway, a little more than halfway through this. Yes, I'm using a paper towel as a bookmark, but I am about between half and two-thirds of the way through the book, and I'm obsessed. I already know I'm going to have to get the rest of the series, just because I really want to know what happens. I know this is probably going to end on a cliffhanger, and I'm going to get so upset about it. But I can go ahead and summarize it just from what I know already about the book. The book follows the main character, Feyre. She is from a family who was once like a wealthy family but lost their fortune when she was a child, and her mother passed away before they had ever even lost their fortune, and now she is kind of the main caregiver in her household. And she finds a wolf in the woods during winter and decides to kill it because they are going to starve and they need money and food to survive. So she kills this wolf. Well, the next day, a beast of sorts comes to their house and says that this was a fairy that she killed, and he was in his like beast form. And so she has to trade a life for a life, and instead of killing her, they offer to let her come and live in their country, the fairy land. It's called Prithian, and so she goes with them, and I don't want to say too much because I don't know if you guys have read this yet, but basically she like has to adapt to living there, and I'm at a point in the story where it's like getting spicy, and I really like it. If you are looking for like a fantasy romance, this is where it's at, and I can't wait to finish it. I'm probably going to finish it tonight, the night that I'm recording this, so I'll keep you guys updated on my Instagram about how I like this book if you want to follow me. The link is in the description down below. Alright, the next few books that I have here are books I'm actually planning to take on my vacation that I'm leaving for in a few days. So, first one is Beach Read by Emily Henry. These next 3 to 4 books are all kind of like very summer vibe romance books, and with the exception of one of them that still takes place in like a coastal town but is not as much of a romance. So I'm gonna give you a synopsis here. Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off the entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that for the next 3 months, they're living in neighboring beach houses, broke and bogged down with writer's block. Then, one hazy evening, one thing leads to another, and they strike a deal designed to force them out of their creative ruts. Augustus will spend the summer writing something happy, and January will pen the next great American novel. She'll take him on field trips worthy of any rom-com montage, and he'll take her to interview surviving members of a backwoods death cult. Obviously. Everyone will finish a book, and no one will fall in love. Really. So, it takes place on a beach. They live in beach houses, and I think from what I've read on the internet, like non-spoiler summaries and stuff, it's kind of like a role reversal type of book, and it seems like, based off the plot summary, that they are going to fall in love, and it's going to be kind of like a little bit of like enemies to lovers maybe, or like a forced proximity, kind of a little bit of both, because they live next door to each other and they don't like each other at the beginning. They're complete opposites. So I'm definitely excited to read this on my trip. Just the cover, you can just tell it's a vacation book, and it's gonna be good. The next one with the same author is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and this book I've been told, is about two friends that go on vacation together every year, and something bad happens and they have to figure it out from there. I'm going to read the back. So it says, 2 best friends, 10 summer trips, 1 last chance to fall in love. Poppy and Alex and Poppy. They have nothing in common. She's a wild child. He wears khakis. She has an insatiable wanderlust. He prefers to stay home with a book. And somehow, ever since a fateful car share home from college many years ago, they are the very best of friends. For most of the year, they live far apart. She's in New York City and he's in their small town. But every summer for a decade, they have taken 1 glorious week of vacation together, until 2 years ago when they ruined everything. They haven't spoken since. Poppy has everything she should want, but she's stuck in a rut. When someone asks when she was last truly happy, she knows without a doubt that it was on an ill-fated final trip with Alex. And so she decides to convince her best friend to take 1 more vacation together. Lay everything out on the table and make it all right. Miraculously, he agrees. Now she has a week to fix everything, if only she can get around the one big truth that has always stood quietly in the middle of their seemingly perfect relationship. What could possibly go wrong? So, I really want to know what happened, what happened between them that is so bad. It seems like it was Poppy's fault in some way because she's the one wanting to mend things. So, I'm excited to figure this out, and I will be taking this on my trip with me. Alright, this next book is one that I've had on my TBR for a long time, and I've purposefully been waiting for the beginning of summer to really use it to crank up the summer vibes. So that book is The On Honeymooners by Christina Lauren, and just look at that cover, it's so pretty. And this one is apparently a enemies to lovers and maybe a little bit of childhood enemies to lovers, because I know that the story follows the maid of honor and best man of a bridal party, because everybody in the party, except for them two, got food poisoning or something, and this honeymoon that was the bride and groom's was paid for and they couldn't go on it, so they gave it to the best man and the maid of honor, but the maid of honor and the best man do not like each other. And that's pretty much all I know about it, but we're going to read the back to maybe get a little bit more insight into what's going on, because I've been heavily avoiding spoilers for all of these books because I really want to be shocked when they have plot twists and stuff. So, the back says, Olive Torres is used to being the unlucky twin. From inexplicable mishaps to a recent layoff, her life seems to be almost comically jinxed. By contrast, her sister Amy is an eternal champion. She even managed to finance her entire wedding by winning a slew of contests. Unfortunately for Olive, the only thing worse than constant bad luck is having to spend the wedding day with the best man and her nemesis, Ethan Thomas. Olive braces herself for wedding hell, determined to put on a brave face, but when the entire wedding party gets food poisoning, the only people who aren't affected is Olive and Ethan. Suddenly, there's a free honeymoon up for grabs, and Olive will be damned if Ethan gets to enjoy paradise solo. Agreeing to a temporary truce, the pair head for Maui. After all, 10 days of bliss are worth having to assume the roles of loving newlyweds, right? But the weird thing is, Olive doesn't mind playing pretend. In fact, the more she pretends to be the luckiest woman alive, the more it feels like she might be. With Christina Lauren's uniquely hilarious and touching voice, On Honeymooners is a romantic comedy for anyone who has ever felt unlucky in love. So, sounds like the girl's gonna fall first in this one. Also, I didn't know that the main character was twins with the bride. I just thought they were either sisters or friends. So that's kind of interesting that they have that dynamic of the unlucky twin. This one is also going on my trip with me, which I'm packing for later today. Alright, and this next book is the last one that I'm going to bring on my trip with me, and it is a little bit of a different vibe than the other 3 I'm bringing, and it is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This one I have been told and seen all over TikTok and stuff that it's more of a mystery book set at a beachy location, and it's trying to figure out who's lying, as the title says. So this one doesn't have a ton of description to read. So I'm kind of going in a little bit blind with it, But I do see that it has this cool map right on the inside that like shows, I guess, the whole plot, like the whole layout of the island that they're going to be staying on, which I do think is like really useful for things that are like, I guess, for plots that like involve multiple locations that are like frequented a lot, to be able to kind of get an orientation on where everything is. I also really like when they put these kind of things in like fantasy books, so you can kind of figure it out, especially since those books are usually based in a land that doesn't look like America or anything on like Earth. So it helps to kind of orient you on where you are. So that's pretty cool. But I am going to read the little short bit on the back of this one. It says, "If anyone asks how it ends, just lie. We are Sinclairs. We live at least in the summertime on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know, except that some of us are liars." So I think them not having much of a description is kind of on purpose to make you like be curious, I guess. But I am very interested to see what happens in this book. I've been told and seen on TikTok that it is either like people love it or they hate it, and there's not really an in-between. So I'm kind of gonna have to see where I fall on this spectrum for this book. Alright, the next one is actually a book in a series that I started last summer and finished the third book in the series as I was going back to school, and then school started, got stressful, didn't have time to read, and this book is a very thick one, so it's kind of daunting to take on, but I'm going to get through it this summer because I really want to know how the story ends, and that is the fourth book in the Red Queen series, War Storm, by Victoria Aveyard. Look at this thick book. Like, holy crap. I think it's like 650 pages or something crazy. And I've read the other three, so I kind of am invested to see what happens in this book. But I don't know if I should read the description because you guys haven't read the other ones maybe. But look how beautiful the inside is. Like, I like to take off the covers when I'm actually reading, and like this is so pretty. Look, it's like a metallic on the end, and then it has this beautiful design on the inside, on the back and the front. So pretty. But anyways, I'm gonna read the description off the little sleeve, I guess. Victory comes at a price. Mayor Barrow learned this all too well when Cal's betrayal nearly destroyed her. Now determined to protect her heart and secure freedom for Reds and new bloods like her, Mayor resolves to destroy the kingdom of Norta once and for all, starting with the crown on Maven's head. But no battle is won alone, and before the Reds may rise as one, Mayor must side with the boy who broke her heart in order to destroy the boy who almost broke her. Cal's powerful silver allies, along with Mayor and the Scarlet Guard, provide a formidable force, but Maven is driven by an obsession so deep he will stop at nothing to have Mayor as his own again, even if it means destroying everything and everyone in his path. War is coming, and all Mayor has fought for hangs in the balance. Will victory be enough to topple the Silver Kingdoms, or will the little lightning girl be forever silenced? In this epic conclusion to Victoria Aveyard's stunning series, Mayor must embrace her fate and summon all her power, for all will be tested, but not all will survive. So, sounds like a very climactic ending. At the end of the last book, spoilers if you haven't read or you're reading the Red Queen series, spoilers on the end of the last book, the end of the third book, but Cal like betrayed Mayor and decided to like try to take the crown back instead of not wanting to be involved because the Silver Allies like wanted him to be in charge. And I don't remember all of it because I read it a year ago, but it was a very dramatic ending and Mayor was pissed off, and it sounds like she has to kind of like team back up with him even though she's angry with him. But this should be interesting. It is a very thick read, so that the month that I read this, it's probably going to be like the time it takes me to read 2 books to get through this one, but I am going to do it. I want to know how it ends, so this is going on the list. Alright, the next 2 are by one of my favorite authors of all time. She's one of the authors that got me back into reading in college, because after like all the books that I didn't enjoy reading in high school, I was like, I don't like to read anymore, even though I was obsessed with it elementary and middle school. Like, I read all the Harry Potter books, all the Hunger Games books, but I fell back in love with reading with Colleen Hoover books, and because of that, I put 2 more of her books on this list. The first one is Hopeless, and this one, I've been told, is one of her earlier works, and let's take a look at the back. Beloved and best-selling author Colleen Hoover returns with the spell-binding story of 2 young people with devastating pasts who embark on a passionate, intriguing journey to discover the lessons of life, love, trust, and above all, the healing power that only truth can bring. Sky, a senior in high school, meets Dean Holder, a guy with a promiscuous reputation that rivals her own. From their very first encounter, he terrifies and captivates her. Something about him sparks memories of her deeply troubled past, a time she tries so hard to bury. Though Sky is determined to stay away from him, his unwavering pursuit and enigmatic smile break down her defenses, and the intensity of the bond between them grows. But the mysterious Holder has been keeping a secret of his own, and once they are revealed, Sky is changed forever, and her ability to trust may be a casualty of the truth. Only by courageously facing a stark revelation can Sky and Holder hope to heal their emotional scars and find a way to live and love without boundaries. Hopeless is a novel that will leave you breathless, entranced, and remembering your own first love. So, big drama in this one, I think. Colleen Hoover always has big plot twists in her books. My favorites that I've read so far are Ugly Love and It Ends With Us, and both of those have huge plot twists towards the end, and they're crazy good. I'm obsessed with the way she writes. Her writing style is amazing. I cannot wait to read these. The other Colleen Hoover book I have picked out for summer is All Your Perfects. This one seems a little bit shorter, which I kind of like because I have a couple pretty thick ones in here, so this will be like a nice one to keep me out of reading slumps and such. Alright, so this book I know has like past and present tense. So that's like following a couple that's like falling in love, and then I know they're struggling with like infertility problems in the present. So I like when it's either past and present point of view or like both people's point of view. I like that kind of writing style, so I think that's going to be really cool in this book. Let's read the little description. It says, "Then, the last thing Quinn expected was to meet the love of her life just outside her fiancé's front door. A year after leaving their cheating partners behind, Quinn and Graham are in a perfect relationship that seems designed by fate. Now, 7 years later, their perfect love is threatened by their imperfect marriage. The memories, mistakes, and dreams that they have built up over the years are tearing them apart. The one thing that could save them might also be the very thing that pushes their marriage past the point of no return." Written with the same emotional depth and keen insight that made Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us and Ugly Love instant New York Times bestsellers, All Your Perfects is a powerfully moving story about a broken couple whose future hinges on promises made in the past, reminding us that the enduring power of love is the ultimate savior. I honestly think when I picked this up, I bought it because it said that it was like Ugly Love and It Ends With Us, because those are 2 of my favorite books of all time. So this one will most likely be getting read pretty soon after I get back from my trip, so it might be in my May reading wrap-up, so be on the lookout for that. The next one is more of a fantasy book, but it also has romance in it, and that is the first book in the Shatter Me series. I bought this book on a sale that Barnes & Noble was having because I didn't know how I'd feel about it, but I've seen so many good reviews about this whole series on TikTok. People like rave about it, that I figured I would dip my toes in, see how it is, if I like it or not, and then if I do, I can obviously get more of the books in the series. And I've kind of been on a fantasy kick with my A Court of Thorns and Roses book that I'm in right now, so this might go great for me. The moon understands what it means to be a human, uncertain, alone, cratered by imperfections. No one knows why Juliet's touch is fatal, but the reestablishment has plans for her, plans to use her as a weapon. But Juliet has plans of her own. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovering a strength to fight back for the very first time, and to find a future with the one boy she thought she'd lost forever. In the electrifying first book of the Shatter Me series, the author presents a riveting dystopian world, a thrilling superhero story, and an unforgettable heroine. So, we got a lot of woman power in this book, which I love. Also, I said the author because I can't pronounce the author's name. I feel really bad, but I know her last name is Mafi. I just don't know how to say her first name, but I'm looking forward to reading this one. It seems kind of, well, they said it's dystopian, which I was really into, especially growing up with like the Hunger Games books. I read Divergent and all of that kind of stuff, so this will probably kind of give me some nostalgia, even if it's a book I've never read, just because it's that sort of vibe. So I'm looking forward to this one as well. If you haven't noticed, I have kind of the beginnings of several series in here, as well as the War Storm book, which is the end of a series I've read, but the next one is no different, and that is the first book in the off-campus series, The Deal. This is a book series about people in college, romances in college, and I'm in college, so I was like, this is perfect for me. And this first book, I know, follows Hannah as the main character, and I've been told she likes One Direction, and I was like immediately drawn to the book. I was like, me and her, we the same person. So I picked this one up, and honestly can't wait to read it. I've been thinking I might do a reading vlog with this. And if any of the other books in my TBR you guys want to see reading vlogs, please tell me, because I love making them. Every single time I make one, I have so much fun with it. So I think I'm going to do a reading vlog for this one. She's about to make a deal with the college bad boy. Hannah Wells has finally found someone who turns her on. But while she might be confident in every other area of her life, she's carting around a full set of baggage when it comes to sex and seduction. If she wants to get her crush's attention, she'll have to step out of her comfort zone and make him notice, even if it means tutoring the annoying, childish, cocky captain of the hockey team in exchange for a pretend date. And it's going to be oh so good. All Garrett Graham has ever wanted is to play professional hockey after graduation, but his plummeting GPA is threatening everything he's worked so hard for. If helping a sarcastic brunette make another guy jealous will help him secure his position on the team, he's all for it. But when one unexpected kiss leads to the wildest sex of both of their lives, it does not take long for Garrett to realize that pretend isn't going to cut it. Now he just has to convince Hannah that the man she wants looks a lot like him. So this looks like a boy falls first book, which I love, because I just like watching the boy like pine over the girl. So this is going to be such a fun read, and I want to take you guys along with me while I read it. So be on the lookout for the reading vlog that I'm going to do for The Deal. Alright, this next one has also been raved about all over TikTok. I swear my TBR is literally established because of TikTok, that I'm just like, oh, looks like a good book to me, and I go and pick it up at the store. So this one is no different. It is 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I've been told this one is a little bit more of a immature read, like a younger audience read, so it is gonna be more like innocent, but that's totally fine with me. I like to mix it up. So this one seems very sad based on the reviews, that it has like a sad ending. I don't really know anything about the plot. I've tried to stay spoiler free again with as many books as possible, because I love the plot twist and I literally want to make myself cry when I read books. Like, I want to be so shocked. I want to experience all the emotions, and if I'm meant to cry, I want to cry. I don't want to be spoiled to anything. One kiss lasts a moment, but 1,000 kisses can last a lifetime. One boy, one girl, a bond that is forged in an instant and cherished for a decade. A bond that neither time nor distance can break. A bond that will last forever. Or so they believe. When 17-year-old Rune Christensen returns from his native Norway to the sleepy town of Blossom Grove, Georgia, where he befriended Poppy Litchfield as a child, he has just one thing on his mind. Why did the girl who was one half of his soul, who promised to wait faithfully for his return, cut him off without a word of explanation? Rune's heart was broken 2 years ago when Poppy fell silent. When he discovers the truth, he finds that the greatest heartache is yet to come. So I don't know what happened, but I'm very curious to find out. I want to know if this is in his perspective or her perspective, or if it's a switching one. I'm kind of flipping through it, and I don't know whose perspective it's from. I think it's from the boy. So that'll be interesting. Most of the books I have are written from the female perspective, so this one will be very interesting to read. The next two are a little bit less romancy novels, especially this next one. This one is more of a mystery book. I wanted to kind of dip my toes into that realm, see how I liked it. So I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This one seems really interesting. I like true crime, like podcasts and videos on the internet. So I thought that this would kind of go along with it because she is trying to uncover the truth about a murder that happened in her town. I think it was like 5 years ago. And she uncovers that it was like covered up and like the truth is not out there. So she goes and tries to investigate it herself. So I think that's really interesting and I'm excited to read that. But the back says, this is the story of an investigation turned obsession. Pretty and popular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend, Sal Singh, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about. And 5 years later, Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. Now a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project. At first, to cast doubt on the original investigation, but soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Sal innocent, and the lines between past and present begin to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life might be in danger. Also, just from looking at the back, I am pretty sure there's a sequel, so if I like it, I might get the other one. But yeah, I'm new to this realm of like mystery books. I've usually only done like fantasy, dystopian, and romance books, so this will be up a new alley for me. And the last book on my TBR is a book I've also had for a while. I'm pretty sure I picked this up in a bookstore vlog last year, and I just have never gotten around to reading it, but that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is a hardback. I usually stick to paperbacks, but I picked this one up in hardback because it was just too beautiful not to get. So the inside also, just like the other hardback, has such pretty artwork. Like, it's so simple, but so pretty. Never pray to the gods that answer after dark. France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. As she realizes the limitations of her Faustian bargain, being able to live forever without being able to be remembered by anyone she sees, Addie chooses to flee her small village as everything she once held dear is torn away. But there are still dreams to be had and a life to live, and she is determined to find excitement and satisfaction in the wide, beckoning world, even if she will be doomed to be alone forever. Or not quite alone, as every year on her birthday, the alluring Luke comes to visit, checking to see if she's ready to give up her soul. Their darkly thrilling game stretches through the ages, seeing Addie witness history and fight to regain herself as she crosses oceans and tries on various lives. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name. And suddenly, everything changes again. I think that she like falls for the guy that is able to recognize her and like remember her, but definitely a different kind of book than what I'm used to. So the last two are kind of stepping out of my comfort zone, and I kind of like that. Alright guys, so that is going to be my whole summer TBR so far. Again, this list will most likely be growing a lot because, especially since I'm starting some series, I'm hopefully going to want to finish them, and that will make this grow, as well as I just take trips to the bookstore and find new things that I like. So this list will definitely be growing, and I will be doing monthly reading wrap-ups at the end of every month / beginning of the next month to give you reviews on all the books that I read that month, let you know what I thought, we can kind of chat about it, and overall just see how the reading's going. But if you guys want to let me know in the comments down below which of these books you're most interested in hearing about from me, if there are any that you would want to see a reading vlog of, because I love doing them, I'm obsessed. I know for sure I'm definitely going to do one for the deal because I think my reactions are going to be kind of interesting. But if any of the other ones interest you in seeing one, I definitely am reading the rest of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. So if you want to see a reading vlog for that, let me know. I won't have one for the first book, obviously, but I can react to the other books. And with that being said, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if there's any other books I should add to my TBR, because it's a growing list and I will definitely go buy books if you guys recommend them. So let me know what you think, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!